Hi there everyone, it's Bren here and thanks for joining me again this week, and welcome to all of those of you who have subscribed. I noticed I had a few new people follow me along, so thanks for joining me on my gardening journey. Well, this week was a very exciting week for me because I did something a bit out of the ordinary, and I met up with two women that I got to know online. Now that might sound a bit crazy, but it's not as weird as it sounds. I actually met them on Instagram, so they're gardening lovers as well. It sounds even worse. Anyway, okay, so I met these two ladies on Instagram and I got to know them, and they're both lovely. And one of them asked if I'd like to meet up and go to a garden workshop at Glenmore House, which is about 20 minutes away from where I live. And I thought, yeah, sure, why not, you might as well. And you know what, they were both beautiful ladies and we had a fantastic day. We even at the very end, even in the car park, we swapped some plants and cuttings and we just had a ball. So you know what, I had an awesome time. Okay, so with this week's video, I got quite a lot of stuff done around the garden this week, which I was very surprised at. I pulled out all of those cosmos and I cut back the dahlias and I got some new plants put in, and I'll be showing you all of that. Plus I also discovered where my old man's beard air plant keeps on disappearing to, and a lovely little garden friend has made some good use of that, and I'll show you in the video, you'll see it. It'll all become clear then. And what else have I been doing? I'll show you an upcycle project that I've done. I've upcycled an old fire pit that I found on the side of the road, and I think it's going to look really good in a few months. And yeah, I also do a harvest as well. So I harvest the end of my Granny Smith apples, the rest of them. I talked about how the protector bags went for me, and I harvested a few more things. Yeah, there's quite a lot going on. I've probably missed out on some things, so just sit back and relax, and let's get stuck in right now. So I'm starting off here in the raised veggie garden area. Such a lovely mild autumn day to be out here in the garden. Everything's looking so nice with the autumnal light. And what I'll be starting off with is I want to harvest the last few apples that are left on this Granny Smith tree. I have actually removed all the bags off the remaining apples, and I'm going to go and harvest them now. And just to show you, for those who haven't seen any of my previous videos, these are the protector bags that I use to cover my apples, because pretty much up until this year I have lost quite a lot of apples to garden pests, and like fruit flies, for example, and the birds that come in and take the whole crop. But this year I've managed to get quite a few apples that have reached a reasonable size using these bags, and these bags are reusable. So some of them have kind of torn, but others I'll be able to give a wash, just dry them out and save them for next year. And I even use some of these bags as well to cover my tomatoes in summertime, to protect them against the fruit fly. And you can find these on eBay. I bought like a bulk load. I can't remember exactly how many, maybe 100 or 200, and they were not that expensive, maybe about $20, $30, which I thought was great value. Now there are a couple of things that I wanted to show you about the apples that are on the tree that I'll talk about now. So as you can see from this apple was in one of those protective bags. However, you can see that it has been damaged. It has some dimpling on the skin and it's a bit distorted looking. And I believe the cause of this is from a native pest called an apple dimpling bug. So with these bugs, what they do is they come in springtime and they come on deciduous fruit trees, and they feed off the immature fruitlets, and they cause this damage to them. Now I mean, I've had a few of these and I've still eaten them. It just really, I think it just causes more trouble for people who are selling their produce, because a lot of people get put off by the look of this and it really makes their crops unsellable. And another another issue that I've had with the bags I've never seen before is this. It looks like some kind of mildew. I think what may have happened was because the bags were protecting the apples and some of it I didn't thin out the apples, it may have caused overcrowding. And with the water, I have to admit I did use the sprinkler a bit, which I probably shouldn't have done. I should have just direct watered the base, and I reckon that's probably what happened with these. I tried to give it a bit of a wipe off, it won't come off, but I'll probably just, like with this one, I have a couple like this, I'll probably just like peel the skin off and put it in the, maybe not the compost bin, maybe just the bin in case I add an infection into my compost. I'll probably put it straight into the bin. Okay, so one other issue with these bags is some of the fruit dropped off early, and I had already wrapped them up. So I wrapped them up when they were really small, and I didn't check the bags, and some of the fruit had dropped, and it's caused this to happen. So this has rotted. So I think I'm going to be more diligent next year and inspect the bags and make sure that I'll probably open them up every few weeks and make sure the apples are okay. But I believe that this can happen also. The fruit can drop off early with the apple dimple bugs, that can be another cause of effect of them feeding off the apples early. What I could be wrong about this and the bug that I believe has infected the tree, got to the tree in early spring. So if you've got any other ideas or you think you know what happened, I'd love if you'd let me know and just put it in the comments. So here's some apples that have kind of just come off while I was taking the bags off, but there are a few up here that I'm going to take off now, like this one. So I'll give it a bit of a twist and a nudge like that, and as you can see, that's quite a nice apple there. And I do have my little garden helper here today. He's at home, so he's going to put his little apple in. Go on, in you go. Good job, thank you. Okay, and there's a few more. Oh, look at that one. Isn't that interesting? It's got a kind of red colour there.
Mommy?
And while I'm over here, I wanted to show you a little garden feature that I finally got around to doing. A few weeks ago I showed you this. I got it free on the side of the road at council pickup. It's an old fire pit, and I am upcycling it in the garden. What I've done is I put some of my wallflowers in here. These are a fiery red orange colour, and I thought they would look good in there, and it would look like kind of flames coming out. And I'm going to build some kind of structure to go over it here where I put an old pot hanging as well. I'll get around to that probably in a few weeks. I think that will just add a bit more. And I had these old little stumps here. I do have some more around the garden, and they can be like little seats. So what I was planning on doing with them was just putting some soil in, and I'll probably put some low mounding grass or some kind of ground cover, and I think that would look quite nice. It would look like little cushions on top. But I am going to leave this feature here because this area here is prime real estate for planting. This is where I originally had my in-ground garden beds, and I had planned on just letting the grass grow over it, but of course I didn't do that because I can't help myself, and I had to put more plants in. So you remember all the eggplants were here and the capsicums, and I also had the cosmos. I've taken all of them out. I'm trying to overwinter the eggplants and capsicums, and because I've had such a trouble with the cabbage white butterfly, what I'm planning on probably doing is I'm going to dedicate this area here just to brassicas, and I'm going to net them. So I will be moving this feature somewhere else. I'm just not really sure at the moment where. So I'm going to move over here now. I have a few things I want to harvest in this area. As you can see, I've taken the cosmos out that was there. I've just moved the post box over here for the moment because I've just been weeding down here and clearing this section. I was thinking I might put some onions in here. I can't decide whether I should go with edibles or flowers, or maybe I should put edible flowers in there. Maybe that would solve the issue for me. But I'm coming over here because I just want to pull out a few of these radishes that you can see down there. There's quite a few. I noticed them yesterday and they're ready to harvest. So I'll pull all these out. Just grab the whole lot of them, I think. Whoa, lots there. Actually, just use these ones. I'll make a salad, so I'll chop these up finely and add them in. But do you know what? I just wanted to show you. Look at this. I've got potatoes popping up everywhere. There's one over there, and this one over there where I have all my calendula. Where is it? There it is. Not really sure yet whether I should just leave them or will I pull them out. I kind of feel like just leaving them and seeing what happens. So I have a new addition in the veggie garden. You can see it here hanging up in the archway. It's a lovely little wind chime that I got off one of my children for Mother's Day. It was Mother's Day here on Sunday, and they bought me this. They thought I'd like it out in the garden. How cute's that? And it says smile. You can't get better than that, can you? So I'll show you around here quickly. There's a lot going on. A lot more calendula flowers coming up. The red mustard is getting quite large. I have in there, I have the purple bok choy. I have put some 4 little cabbages in here. Oh my goodness. Okay, so my little helper, thank you, has just pulled out one of my baby beetroots. For Mother's Day he did a little harvest for me and he pulled out the other ones, so now I'm pretty much down to 0, I think. 0 beetroots.
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
One more lettuce.
Thank you though. Here, do you want to pass it over here and we'll put it in the harvest basket? Look at that, it's a little beetroot. There we go, that's an unexpected addition to the basket today. A little beetroot. So as well as this area being my raised veggie garden area, I like to call it my nursery as well, because this is where I put all of my seedlings. So I usually have them up over here in this section that I really need to weed. But remember I moved them down here when I went on holidays and I haven't moved them back yet. And this is all my cuttings and all my edibles and flowers. They're all in here. Everywhere you look, there's more of them. So I've been slowly but surely, they're all back there as well, trying to get through them all. There's my eggplants and capsicums that I'm trying to overwinter. And yeah, there is quite a lot. And yes, it does feel a bit overwhelming, but I just have to keep on saying to myself, this happens every year and I know I'll get through them all and I'll get them all planted. And I have been busy this week, so I'll show you some things I've done. But before I do that, there was one more thing over here I wanted to harvest today, and it's the last of my eggplants. Oh, look at that. I think that's the one you don't like, the 28 spotted ladybug. Just there. Anyway, I'll come back to that later. But this is the last thing I'm going to harvest. My last eggplant. This is the Rosa Bianca eggplant. And then I'm going to be cutting this back. Look at this. Does anyone out there know what the cause of this could be? Maybe it is that little ladybug or its friends. So, yep, I will be cutting this back and then I'll be trying to overwinter this plant as well. Hopefully that will work out, but you know what, if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. I can always sow more seeds. Okay, let me just pick this one off now. Okay, so I'll put that in the basket in a sec, but wanted to show you this flower here. Do you know what? There's no harm in asking people for cuttings, and I actually got this from the Botanic Gardens in the town where I live. It's a cutting of a geranium. It's probably a pelargonium, but I just call them all geraniums. And that's what my mother used to call them, so that's what I call them. But isn't that one a beautiful, vibrant pink colour? I saw that when I was in the car park. I'd never seen this one before, so I just asked the GA, the general assistant, could I have a cutting? And he was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And now I'm going to grow it in my garden, knowing that it grows really well in the area. There has been big changes in this area. That last week I may have shown you That's my little helper over there. I told him to duck down, so he's hiding behind the rock. Anyway, do you remember I had all the cosmos here? I've pulled them all out, and now you can finally see the fence at the back. But look what I had behind there that I almost forgot about. This beautiful old gate. When we moved into the house, this gate and another one exactly the same were left behind. And I've always wanted to make a garden feature of it, and I did have this one here, but it just got covered by the cosmos. So I was thinking I might put some foxgloves around it. That might look nice there. And with the other one I was going to put it down near the chicken coop, because they're too magnificent to keep hidden away. And I've also cleared here of all the weeds, and I've replanted it. I've got alyssum on the border. I've got some curly kale, red Russian kale. I put 2 of my rhubarbs in there. I've got a silver beet, and then I have some different perennial flowers and some annual flowers too back there. I have the milk thistle, that there is the Queen Anne's lace, and I have a succulent. I put 2 in there. I might take one out because I'm a bit nervous that the frost, if we get a hard frost again this year, hopefully we won't. Oh, and I still have my little sunflower. Can you believe it? The last few weeks of autumn, and I still have a sunflower. So while pulling out all the cosmos, I discovered that my passion fruit vine is pretty much stuffed. It has got so many suckers. I don't think I'm going to be able to save it, which is a bit sad, but I do have a replacement plant. I kind of only wish that I had put it in last year so I had a better overlap, but you know, you learn from your mistakes, don't you? Anyway, and then look at this. I've got like this privet thing coming up as well. I didn't even notice that, so that's really weedy where I live. I'll have to try and remove that. I'll probably dig that one out. But the main reason why I'm over here is because, I don't know if you noticed, but in previous videos I have shown you that I have some old man's beard, which is an air plant, and it keeps on going missing. Look what I discovered here. Can you see? There's a nest. This just made my day when I saw this yesterday. To think a bird chose my garden to bring up its babies. It's just so makes me so happy. And then you can see all around here, you see all that stuff there? That's the air plant that the little bird took. And you know what? I don't mind at all. Okay, so I've moved down the garden a bit more, and is it just me, or does anyone think that these are really big nasturtium leaves? Like this one over here, I'll show you. Look at this one here. Is that not huge? I've never seen them that big before. But where I am now is I'm actually underneath the orange tree. And I was standing under here today just looking up and admiring all of these. It's such a lovely view. I feel so lucky to have this tree in my garden, honestly. Like, how good is this? So I'd mentioned before, this tree was here when we bought the house, and we've been here 10 years, so it has got quite mature. I'm not sure what variety it is, but I have a feeling it could possibly be a grafted tree, because in one section, when you cut open the oranges, they look like blood oranges, which makes me think that maybe it could be a grafted one, and the other areas just looks like, you know, your regular oranges. Down even further down the back, I wanted to show you the dahlia patch, and here's the mulch, the straw I've been using for the dahlias. That's the cutback. I always have piles in the garden at the moment of them, but look at it, it looks so different now, doesn't it, without the dahlias there. So I was thinking, I think I mentioned last video, I am leaving the tubers in the ground, and I'm going to mulch them heavily. So this is the first year that I had success with dahlias. It's the first year I'm going to leave them in the ground, so let's see how it goes. So I'm planning on maybe planting some stuff in between, probably some lower ground cover things. I was even thinking maybe some rocket, put some seeds in there, some poppies, and I might do like a border here of curly kale, which would just kind of define the area a bit more. And not quite sure. I can never really decide until I actually have done something. So we'll just wait and see, watch this space. I might be saying something completely different next week to you. I think what I might do now is I might pick some of the zinnia flowers. They're not looking the best, but I might as well make the most when they're still around, which won't be for too much longer. So I'll go and grab a handful of them now. So there's a few zinnias, not looking as stunning as they once did, but I mean, I'm grateful that I still have some to harvest. I'm just waiting on all those hardy annuals to bulk up so I have some more cut flowers to pick. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go inside, pop these in a vase, and then I'll sort out those radishes. I'll eat the radish leaves, and I'll also eat the radishes themselves, and make some little salad and have something with it. I'm not sure yet. But thank you so much for watching this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and please subscribe if you would like to see more of these videos. I do post them on a weekly basis, usually on a Thursday or Friday. It just depends on how everything's going in life. But until next time, I'll say bye for now and happy gardening.